Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Ashley. How are you this evening?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? I'm so happy to be here with you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy to have you. I'm good. Been running and ripping and running. Came back a couple hours, to get ready for this. Super excited. And so, I know your calendar before we got on. I was on social media. I seen you out knocking doors, so I know your calendar is full. You're home. You have the babies, and so I do. We are not going to waste your time, our ladies and gentlemen, our audience. We are going to get to it right now. So, Miss Ashley, if someone don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Yeah, so I'm Ashley Comans. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I'm a candidate for state representative for the 34th House District. And oftentimes we say our districts, and people are like, I don't know where that's at. So that pretty much covers Wilkinsburg, the Woodland Hills School District, minus Turtle Creek, a little bit of Pittsburgh. We have a slither of Homewood and Point Breeze. So that's a part of the district. I'm a community advocate. I'm a school board director. This year I was appointed, or not appointed, elected, and alongside my board as the vice president. I've been on school board since 2017. I got into this work because 2016 happened, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I got to do a little bit more than going and voting. And so
Mm-hmm.
I really got involved in our local politics. I was a newlywed, and I knew that my husband and I, Dante, would want to have kids. And I believe in public schools, and I wanted to send my kids to the schools down the street from me. And so I got to work. I knocked doors. I won my race. And we've done some really good work in Wilkinsburg as a school board director. I currently serve as the media and government relations manager for Healthy Start. So that organization is Pittsburgh based. It's actually in district. And we address maternal and health disparities for women, birthing folks, and children across Allegheny County. And I also love to say that I was a campaign manager for my husband, who is now the mayor of Wilkinsburg, when he won that title back in 2021. We're in this work, and that's that's how that's how we got here.
Yeah, yes, thank you for sharing a little of yourself. um you spoke a little bit on you being the school board director, and I want
Mhm.
to touch on that. And as you said, since 2017, December of 2017 to be exact. Can you share with us some of your wins, some things that brought to the table that either move the district forward, and or
Mhm.
is there things that you were not able to bring to the table that you wish that you could have?
hmm Yeah. So when I first ran for school board and I knocked doors, and my family is from Wilkinsburg, so all of my life, everyone always talked about high taxes in Wilkinsburg. So that was one of the top priorities. I think once I got into this work was, a top priority for myself and my school board colleagues. So one of our biggest wins is that we've been able to lower our taxes in Wilkinsburg 6 mills since
Mm,
2017, which we know is a big relief for our community. And so we did that. What I'm also really proud of is when I first got on school board, we were under the leadership of Dr. Linda Iverson. We restructured our two elementary schools. Unfortunately, across the state, we're consistently seeing schools close down. So in our district, we only have two elementary schools, and we previously had two pre-K to 6 buildings, and it just didn't make sense. So we
mm,
restructured to a primary and an intermediate building where we have pre-K to 2 in one school, which is Kelly Primary, and then 3 to 6 in the other, which is Turner Intermediate. When I got on school board, that was very familiar for me because I graduated from Woodland Hills. And when I went to Woodland Hills, we had a primary, intermediate, junior high school structure. So for me, it made sense. And I think it's been a really good benefit for our schools to really streamline the way we are collectively educating our kids with early learning. And then when we're preparing them for middle school, in addition to that, we also successfully completed the renovation of the elementary school that I started my learning at, Turner Intermediate. And that was one of the biggest wins. I'll never forget when we opened up the new renovated building, and the kids, we had the open house, and the kids ran up and literally screamed, "They did this for us." And it was like, yes, right, we did do this for them. And I think it's a testament to, when you show the young people that they know when people care about them. And so the decisions that we've been making for our schools reflect that. We do still have a lot of work to do. In no way, I think that's just something, we're not perfect. So there are some things that I know we are working towards. We've had, an increase in Hispanic students in our school district. And so we're doing work to make sure that we can better serve our families. And separate from that, what we also did with our kids, and this was during my husband's term on school board, we added Spanish for our kids, pre-K to 6, because with our partnership with Pittsburgh Public Schools, our kids weren't able to get into all the magnet programs because they didn't have that language. And so we added that to the curriculum so that we can, give our kids at least the background and the work needed to even apply to certain schools within the magnet program. So those are just some of the wins that we've had, and we're continuing to build on that.
Wow. You know what I really, really appreciated, what I just heard you say, is how the kids knew that it was for them. And that what I hear is, so there's so many times that we, us as adults, we have so many conversations about them without them. So this truly tells me that they were involved in this, in this innovation and redesigning of the school. And so I really, really appreciate that, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
So why state rep?
So, we've had a lot of things happen since I first ran for school board. The year following that, in 2018, we saw a political revolution begin to spark here in Allegheny County. And this particular seat was the catalyst for that. And we have seen this particular district move in a way that has centered a progressive space, right? We see that young people, Black, white, brown, old, young, very, very diverse group of people, time and time again have shown that they want something different. And so this district wants a visionary. And I believe that right now, we unfortunately have taken a few steps back. We are currently seeing some of the politics that we have left behind. And so I believe that in this upcoming primary, we want to make sure the community knows that they have a choice. We want to give this seat belongs to the people. I believe that this office should be the center and the focus for organizing and mobilizing in our communities, increasing, folks who want to get engaged and want to be involved. We can't expect people to just wake up and say, "Oh, I'm going to pay attention to this." Like, no, we've got to go to the people, meet them where they're at. And I think we are still doing the work when we're thinking about advocating for working families. We're advocating for healthcare access. We're advocating for fairly funding our public schools, right? We know that the Commonwealth Court has said it. We are not constitutionally funding our public schools. This is a fight that we are still in. We are just getting started. We've made some advances, we've made some progress, but we're not done. And so I think that it's time that we make sure that this seat is continuing to be a leader in that space of bringing the voices of the people from Western PA into Harrisburg and not giving up, not stopping this fight, because we know that this is what our community has shown us at the polls time and time again. Whether we want to talk about our new county executive, or we want to talk about, we've done this work together, Terri, right? The Court of Common Pleas, when we elected those 5 women to the Court of Common Pleas, my goodness, that I think those are the moments to show that we're ready. Western PA is ready. And so it's time that we make sure this seat is still in the work and on the front lines
Mm-hmm.
of bringing the voices of those who have been most, impact, voices that have been left out. We still need to be bringing those up to Harrisburg. So that is
Okay.
why I am running.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to talk. I want to talk about tap into two things that you had said. Um, One, you were talking about our public schools, right? And when you were and you also were talking about the community, the people in the community. So when we first got on, I asked, I seen you knocking doors, so I don't want to waste your time. I know you've been out. So tell us, what are you hearing? What are you hearing from House District 34? What are you hearing when you're knocking on the doors, Ashley? Can you share some of that with us?
I Yeah, the same message that I just shared with you now, I'm sharing with the voters on the doors. And this is what they want. They are in agreement. This is the message that they see still is still needed. I just talked to someone on the doors earlier today, and we were talking about his taxes, right? His taxes are going up because we're not funding our schools adequately, and it cannot continue to be on the backs of our property taxes. That is not the way. That goes to show that we are still allowing our zip codes to determine the type of learning experience that our young people get to have, and that's not the answer. Our minimum wage is still $7.25. That is not enough. When I first graduated from undergrad and I was working at WPXI, I made $8 an hour.
Wow.
That
Wow.
that just was not, livable, right? And so we know that that should not that should not be acceptable. That's not livable. That is not ensuring that people are able to go to work, feel pride in the work that they're doing, because they still can't go home and pay their light bill, pay their rent. You can't pay
Mhm.
rent with $8 an hour in 2024.
Well,
So
ladies and gentlemen, because you took one of my questions off, so I can literally you share with us your take on minimum wage, so I can take one of
yes,
the questions off. So
yes.
you tapped into schools again. So I've been reading about the governor's budget proposal
Hmm.
for the 200 million through the basic education funding line. Um,
Hmm.
and that is to be distributed, as we know, throughout the 500 districts.
Hmm.
Do you think this is enough? And if so, oh,
It's a step in the right direction, right? Like it does show. What I will say about the governor's budget address, which was
mhm,
personally exciting to see, right? Not
mhm,
only from the conversation around investments into public education, but also when we're talking about the experience of our young girls when they're in school and needing access to period products, right?
mhm,
Like, I don't know if we've ever seen a governor talk about girls and their periods before, right? And I think that goes to show that the work we're seeing happening on the ground, the conversations that we're bringing to the forefront and making sure these voices are being heard, is being
mhm,
reflected in where our investments are going when we see the governor's address. So I know that the governor sees that we need to be putting investments into our public schools.
mhm,
But I also think that that's a start. I don't think that that's it, right? And I think that's how we see that that's where the investments are going right now. And so how do we continue to increase that, grow that? What does that look like? We need to start somewhere. So I'm happy to see that, but we also need to make sure that we are we're investing in our public schools and investing, and I'll say it here, right? Vouchers also aren't the answer. So I think that we're gonna be appreciative that we have the ear of our governor to know the
mhm.
investments in public education need to happen, and we know that's the start. and let's continue to focus on what are we doing for our public schools. We need to not only be invested like the 200 million, our schools need to be renovated. The infrastructure of our schools in itself. When Pittsburgh Public Schools at the beginning of this school year in September, when we had those really hot days and they had to close down for virtual learning because there's not air conditioning in the buildings. And I know a lot of folks online were like, oh, these kids, they're soft on them. I'm like, no, it was actually really hot.
Mhm.
And without air conditioning in those buildings, it wasn't safe. And again, our property taxes aren't going to fix that. We need
Thank,
investments in the infrastructures for our schools, and that needs to come from Harrisburg.
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And also I see I notice you're looking where the noise is. Listen, we know you're home, you're with family. We, like, as I already said, I saw on social media what your day looked like. And so I knew
Mm-hmm.
what questions I was going to come with. So please be comfortable. We're
Yes,
all family.
that was that was Bo with his cars on the wall.
Yes. So yes, I love to make sure that this place is safe and be comfortable. So let's skip over to and thank you. I want to really thank you for your answer, Ashley. I want to jump over to what's your take on legalizing recreational marijuana?
So I mean, I think we're seeing it happen across the country, right? I literally just watched a video from Vice President Kamala Harris about. Of course, I lose my words right now. We need to get with the times.
Hmm. Hmm.
It would be we know that it would be a huge source of additional funds
Hmm.
for the state, and we've got work to do because we've got a split legislature, but that's the that is very clearly the direction that we're going in as a country, and I think it's just a matter of time. So that's where I stand on it. I think the writing is on the wall.
Thank you.
People shouldn't be going to jail because they smoked a joint, right?
Yeah.
We need to decriminalize, and we need to
Yeah. Yeah.
the economy, right? Like let's be realistic.
And that's where I go when I know when I'm asked or or in a conversation around legalizing recreational marijuana. It's my mind always go to the economy, and what it can and what it can do. So thank you so much for that. Um, Now I asked you earlier why state rep. Now I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask you a couple more questions before we wrap it up and see if we have any questions for you from the audience. So I asked you earlier why state rep. I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask you now why Ashley.
Why Ashley?
Hmm.
This is going to take me back to our emerge days, right? Um, I think that, you know, this particular seat, Wilkinsburg is newer into this district,
Hmm.
and um, there hasn't been someone else that I have seen post Summer Lee, right?
Hmm.
Who I think who has put themselves out to be that
Hmm.
leader that's needed. And so it was just that moment of, if you don't see anyone else, then that means it's you.
Hmm.
And I also believe that, again, I am in this race because the work I have done, the fight in the front line of this fight that we have been on over the past several years
Hmm.
must continue. And this particular district, this is my home. I have been born and raised here. I knocked on doors today, and I literally would tell people I used to play a couple doors up the street because so and so lived here, and they're like, oh yeah, and
Yeah.
this is my home. This is the community that raised me to be the woman that I
Mm.
am today. And it's personal as a mother, as you know, as a Black woman, as where when we see that the when we see the things that are changing within our communities, when we have been able to witness representation actually look and reflect the communities that they serve, it is important that we don't forget that. It is important that we have someone who is going to be, that inspiration for the community, right? Because the community has to um, I don't know where her father went. Maybe downstairs or in the back. I know he didn't leave you though, okay? This is real life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to send him a text message, okay? Okay. Sorry, Terri.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
But yeah, so that's why this moment for me, I've stepped up to the call, and the community has been very supportive with that. And it's not as much as I've stepped up to the call, it's also always a reminder that I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing this for my community. I'm doing this for, I'm doing this for people in the community who for too long have felt left behind, left out, and not brought into this work.
They're not in the back or downstairs. Daddy.
You don't have a chance.
Listen, at all. This is like the house with young people, and I thought about it too. I was like, oh, I should have went somewhere else to do this
No. You're fine. You're fine. And thank you for that, because people ask, like, what's your why? And so I greatly appreciate that. And before, I think I have like two more questions. If anybody have any questions, that please put it in the chat, because we're going to wrap this up. Let me ask you this: if there's something that first of all, when is election?
Election day is April 23rd.
Mhm.
We are about 8 weeks out.
Okay.
From that day. So also, if you either you won't be here, or also, unfortunately, our primary has been set for Passover. So applying for mail-in
Mhm.
ballots, the drop boxes that were just announced from the county, that will be available for people to have like in-person voter services. Definitely check that out. It's all on the county website. And if you vote in person, April 23rd, make
Okay.
sure you get to the polls.
Thank you. And we're going to wrap it up so we can get you back to your family. If there was something a question that someone may have had that we did not talk about, and or they may want to volunteer, they may want to donate, they may want to, as I said, get more questions, get some answers from something that we maybe did not discuss. Which directions should someone go, and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so our campaign website is ashleycomans.com. I am on social media at Ashley R. Comans on all platforms. And you can send us an email, hello@ashleycomans.com.
Thank you. Now, before we wrap it up, Miss Comans, is there anything that you would like to say?
I'm super, like I said, I'm super appreciative for you allowing me this time and space to share about the work that we want to do. I want to remind everyone that this work that has been happening over, the past several years, we cannot stop. We have left behind the old way of doing politics, and that is not the way, we're not allowing that to come back. We deserve to make sure we're putting the voices and the lived experiences of the people in this community who still have for too long not had that chance to feel connected and to be able to see people speak to the issues that matter to them. We all want to have good public schools in our community. We all want to make a living wage. We all want to be able to make our own choices for our own bodies. We all want to be able to, if we need to stay home and take care of our loved ones, that should be an option for us to do without it being a detriment to our livelihoods. And that is the work that I am currently doing and will only amplify and build and organize even more as a legislator and going to Harrisburg. We not only need to organize in our community, but we also need to be organizing in Harrisburg, because we know that this movement is still new. We're just getting started. So I hope I can get the support of even more people, folks who have listened to this interview, and please reach out. I am here. My ears are open, and I'm ready to get to work for my community.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Candidate Ashley Comans for House District 34. Again, can you shoot your information out one more time before we wrap it up?
AshleyComans.com, all social media, Ashley R. Comans, and send us an email, hello@ashleycomans.com.
And stay tuned for all of our upcoming community educational civic series. Goodbye.